Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of the FitFam podcast. Today we're going to be getting into who do you believe with some crazy stuff.
And I just want to point out sometimes the people you can trust are people that piss you off a little bit. You
Ooh,
don't always love the things that they have to tell you, right?
but it might be what you need. Let's find out. As always, this is Miss Natural Olympia Hilary.
And this guy right here is Doug the Formulator.
And remember, if you like what you see and hear, click follow and also on the little bell so that you can get notified when we have new episodes. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you take your time to watch our crazy show sometimes, and we hope to provide some value to you. But
Absolutely.
today,
Wait, I do feel like I need to point something out
what?
because the last podcast, I think it was the last one, I was so cocky and saying like, we never get sick. I got a little bit of a head cold going on. And anyways, so
Well, can
the,
I make a
a
comment
couple
on
things. Number one, don't get cocky. And
it?
number two, be grateful for your health because it is just the best when you have it and not the best when you don't. And don't overstress yourself because sometimes it will lead to sickness.
Well, and that's kind of the point I wanted to make is that the majority of colds, flus, and that come from a rundown system because it's not you came in contact with the bacteria or virus. We come in contact with them all the time. It's what your immune system's up to at the time of the contact. And usually it comes after something that really heightened your immune system and heightened cell activity. So an event like Thanksgiving. In your case, it was Miss Olympia and then Thanksgiving and all, you never had a letdown. And so finally, all of a sudden, Thanksgiving's over, everyone left and it hit you. So it's very easy to do. So a lot of times we build up our nutrients and we take, extra vitamins and vitamin C and the chews and all that stuff during the event when that's good. But in reality, we need to really do it more even after and drink water. It's the
And
lack of
before,
water that's the
right?
key. What?
Like even when we have those
Yep.
big events, like even before we hit those, really cranking up our nutrient levels,
Yep.
right? So, okay, now back on
Back
subject.
on track. Okay. And this one we decided to do because it got me going. I get really tired of let me say I get excited and tired. I get excited when I see these crazy marketers out there. They say, oh, here's what's working organically, let's take and abuse it. So like it makes me realize what marketing actually works. But the bad part is whenever something's working organically and other people like in our space that are trying to help others understand some science in that. So we'll make cool little graphs or make a cool little post and not go into a lot of detail of the study, but just like, hey, here's some really cool thing we found. Love that. But what's happening is that the people that don't care about the truth, they're just trying to sell something. They see that that works and they're using it and people are believing them.
Or maybe for whatever reason, they've done it and they're like, hey, that helped me, when it wasn't necessarily the thing that helped them. It was just, a day where they had more energy in the gym or,
Oh, yeah,
you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah,
And so, anyways, but it's
yeah.
probably more likely yours. But what we're talking about is nicotine.
Yeah, and we'll put this on the screen right now. Basically, it comes from a social media post that went viral, and I've seen it everywhere. And it said, "Hey, new study reveals using nicotine pouches and caffeine during workouts increases muscle growth 125% more than anabolic steroids." That's a crazy
It's
claim,
such a crazy claim.
right?
It's such a crazy claim.
And what's happened is from this, that the first time I saw it was actually months ago. Um, I noticed, even with people we know,
Yeah.
that all of a sudden people started taking nicotine pouches along with their caffeine before workouts because they believed this post. Because it also said, based on this, researchers at Scandinavian Institute, da 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 da. And I'm like, man, I haven't heard of that place before. So I went and looked up. There wasn't one. Like a made up institute where these researchers came from. They came out with this study, so it like had so many red flags that the second I dug into it, it was like, wow, this is crazy.
Okay, so nicotine, even when delivered via pouches, not smoking, is not a harmless performance enhancer. Number one, it is not.
It is not. And I know that they just pulled that from that first study, and that's based on multiple studies showing, okay, can nicotine improve performance? Because they're like, people take nicotine, they get it's heightened,
Right.
right? So that must be good. It must be more performance. Well, it's not. It's a fight or flight reaction in the body. Just like if you gave the body some poison, the body reacts to it. Versus if you give it, even caffeine sometimes can be good if it's the right form to where it's energy. This isn't. This is actually a heightened response to a poison. And they've taken that saying, oh, that's performance. And the study showed false, that it's not an increase in performance and it's bad for you. What else?
Okay, so studies have reviewed dozens of performance tests compared nicotine versus placebo, right? And found that most show no performance benefit. In fact, in many, there was no difference at all in strength, endurance, or overall performance. So there was zero.
Zero. And when you look at those studies, there's always parameters. And in almost every one, there was actually a slight decrease. So even though there was a heightened awareness, like all of a sudden everything's on alert, the actual performance went down. And it was mainly because it was causing toxicity in the cells so that your body couldn't be anabolic. Yeah, that it truly was stopping the body from being able to create protein synthesis and build muscle. So the opposite of what people thought.
Okay, so there is no credible evidence showing nicotine pouches help build muscle. I can't say the word.
Got it. Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy. I just want to say hypertrophy.
You can do that.
I don't like when it's wrong. Anyways, improved protein synthesis, recovery, or actual long-term strength gains. So you're telling me there's no credible evidence?
Goose eggs. Gooster.
Okay, I'm a devil's advocate. I find that very hard to believe. This looks really convincing. This little post, I'm like, oh, maybe I need to try some nicotine.
Well, the thing is what they've done in the tobacco industry. They're saying, okay, people know tobacco's bad for you, it's bad for you, like causes cancer, do all this. Let's take this thing they don't know is bad for you and say it's really good for you and come out with all these campaigns until proven different. The same thing with tobacco. They got away for decades and decades, back over a century, of pulling the wool over people's eyes about saying that smoking was good for you, and to the fact that bring them to the hospital rooms and which one do you want, right? Like crazy how it started.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to do the same. The difference now is that real information is a lot more readily available, and hopefully people will realize nicotine itself does not have benefit. And if you hear someone saying it, follow the money, because there is some people in our space that are saying it. And whenever there's people in our space that have some of the credentials that we like to see in that, say things like this, like there's others said the same thing on sucralose, someone that, I respected and a PhD in our arena, and come to find out they were just getting paid to say it, and because he knew better. And the same thing with nicotine. When you hear people saying good things about nicotine, do the research, and you'll see that you can probably follow a money trail, or people believe things like this just at face value and say, oh, there's a Scandinavian report, because some influencer just going to read that versus find out there is no even institute that is there to do the research on it.
So just because it gives you a buzz does not translate into muscle growth.
Yep.
Okay, so research on nicotine shows it can suppress protein synthesis and interfere with normal cellular growth and repair processes. That matters because muscle growth isn't built in one session. Muscle growth happens over time and in cycles. Cycles of stress, repair, and then adaptation.
And that's a really good point. And in order for stress, repair, and adaptation to happen, the cells have to be clean. And the best way to explain nicotine in anything in that world like that is it puts a layer around the cell so that it's harder for nutrients to come in, toxins to get out, for protein synthesis to happen, to build new tissue. And so it messes up all three stages of protein synthesis.
So what I think
crazy.
Sometimes is that is that
I just did it so you didn't have to.
Okay, thanks. Is that we confuse feeling a little hyped or having a little buzz into muscle strength.
Or performance,
performance and strength. We confuse the two. And I think that happens regularly.
Absolutely. I mean, look, one of the big attractions people to drugs is that it makes me feel better. No, it's a reaction to the drug and what your body's trying to do to get rid of the toxin that's killing you, and your body's heightened. And because you're not eating healthy and exercising, you don't even know what true heightened feels like. And so it's a tough place because you do feel like you're feeling better,
Yeah.
but you really aren't, and you have to go through this cycle of getting rid of it, and actually probably not feeling good for a bit because your body has to cleanse to come back. That's why a lot of people never break the cycle. So the best rule is to never get on nicotine, especially get on it because you think it's helping with a workout or helping with recovery.
Yeah, actually, it's such an interesting concept to me that so many people jumped on this bandwagon. It's interesting. So with smoke-based nicotine,
Okay.
there's evidence of increased expression of genes linked to muscle breakdown and or impaired muscle maintenance. So actually the reverse when we're talking about
Hmm.
smoke-based nicotine. While the pouches avoid the smoke, of course, the underlying nicotine effects on cells and on cardiovascular, cellular health still raises the same concern.
Same concern. And absolutely. So there's no doubt that you have stages of how bad it is for you.
Okay.
Okay, so nicotine pouches is bad for you. You don't get muscle growth. It's not true energy. Don't do it. Is it worse to vape in that? Absolutely worse to do it at that level because it's actually absorbing the toxin at a cell level even deeper. And then the top level smoking, because now you've actually got the carcinogens from the smoke itself, from the burning. And so there's levels, but the pouch that this study was talking about is bad. That's the key. And what will happen many times, they're saying, look, we agree that smoking is bad, but guess what? The main ingredient, it's good for you. So if you don't smoke it and you don't inhale it at all, like you're just doing the pouch, it's good for you, and that's false.
Okay. I like that breakdown. I think that's really great.
Cool.
Just because something is better than another does not mean it's healthy, right? We always have this conversation. Because sometimes I'll post something and it's easy to say healthy when no, it's not healthy. I'm just making a better choice.
It's
So
healthier
making
than the other version of it,
right.
right?
So making that distinction is really, really important, I feel like. So basically nicotine from pouches can be linked to increased heart rate and blood pressure, potential long-term cardiovascular strain, and unknown but plausible risks to oral health and overall wellness. So
100%. And because you're putting that toxin, poison immediately right in the mouth, you can cause a lot of those problems.
yeah, and using it regularly, there's a high chance that you're going to become dependent on it, right? So it's creating this situation, like if you're using it for your workouts, now all of a sudden you're becoming dependent to feel good, to get ready for your workout, and now you're still getting the opposite effects of not just not building more muscle, but breaking down muscle.
Yeah, so it's actually making those workouts that you're trying to get hyped to do actually less effective. You'd have to do, more of it and versus less. The whole key is to be able to the least amount of exercise to get the most benefit, because then you're putting the
Mhm.
least amount of stress on the body. And the best way to do that is to get into the workout with a clean, healthy cell full of nutrients. And then you're able to get in and get out and get that benefit. And as you get older, it's even more important because it's all about recovery.
Yes.
And it's like my workout's so different now than it was
Right.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this whole
Yeah.
55 to 60
And
thing.
even 2, 3 years ago,
That's
it
true.
kind of changed. So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, I think that's really important. So give us the bottom line.
The bottom line is nicotine is bad for you, period. End of story. Don't take it. Never should. If you do, quit. Quit.
So aggressive.
Especially though, if you're doing nicotine in any form, thinking it's going to improve performance. That's the main point today is if you're doing nicotine because you think it improves your performance, it does not. It actually impedes performance. It actually is stopping what you're wanting to have happen, whether it be muscle, really long-term energy, all of these great things that you're wanting. It's actually impeding
Yeah.
your body from getting there. And so if that's the reason that you're doing it, which is this new wave of people as a new pre-workout thing or through the day, this is what I'm doing for energy. Quit.
Yeah, I think the moral is don't confuse a reaction with progress.
Ooh, I like that.
Thanks.
That's really good. How
Thanks.
about that?
And that's a quick one today.
But can we kind of give one more thing with that?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. Because really the overall thing was this post was brought up to me. In fact, right before we went on, I sent this to our videographers to say, hey, this is going to go in it. And he responded back right before we went on saying, hey, I almost sent this to you because I thought it was weird.
Oh, I
And
love that.
so the real point today is, look, you need to follow people that you can trust. And the best people that to follow are ones that say you don't believe us. And so like that's what we say. We just got off
Yeah.
a call with a new family that we brought on as a concierge team. And the great part of it was that we want you to not believe us. We want you to ask questions. We want you to feel comfortable that we need to show you research, especially getting going. Once you get some wins, then yeah, you'll end up trusting us because you'll have knowledge that what we're saying works. But the key is to follow people, actual people, and ask questions and
Ask
make sure they
questions
have the research to back it up.
and look at research studies. If you're still trying to find the people to trust, the companies to trust, look up research studies that they mention and really try to understand them, right? Because you can take one little part from a research study and make it sound completely different than what the findings actually are.
Yeah. And the fact that this said about greater than anabolic steroids, the reason it got my dander up is because
Dander?
isn't dander? My dad said dander. Anyways, was because as far as we know, and there might be someone out there, but as far as we know, the only study that's ever been done showing that there's natural nutrients that can provide the same results, if not better than like TRT, not hardcore steroids, Winstrol, all that, but that was done at ASU on a product we made called Muscle RX. And you don't have to believe us. Go Google the patent 5888553. And that's a patent number. And you read it and you see the study was done with creatine, glutamine, branched chain amino acids in a certain form that people, when they took it, they were able to build muscle, protein synthesis, that it helped them to their goals. And that's the type of stuff that I think that you're saying is like,
Yeah, absolutely.
like you made that statement. Where did you get it from? What can we look up? And now with Grok and ChatGPT, you can do it, and you don't have to be a research scientist to look it up. But that's really the overall point today. It was, yeah, that thing got me going, and we did our research to be able to share with you about nicotine, but it's bigger than that. It's about these things that are going on in social media, especially with AI now. Getting with real people and saying, look, I don't want to spend all day, working on my health. I want to enjoy my health. Then make sure you're aligned with some that are going to help you, make the right choices quickly so you can enjoy life. And that's what we spend our life doing, is so that you don't have to. There's some other great people out there doing the same thing. Just make sure you align yourself with people that will do it based on the research and help you get there. So now I'm done.
It's beautiful.
Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Looking forward to the rest of this holiday season. It's one of our favorite times of year, and a lot of gratitude and love. And we appreciate you guys. As always, this is Miss Natural Olympia Hilary. Oh, the fact that you did that. Finally get her to come out.
Get to my head.
I love it. Finally. Thank you.
Done the formulator. We can cut that part.
One time. All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody.